Alright, here we go. We're going to get started with another Battletech Flashpoint. This time we're going to help out House Davion with some quote-unquote insurgent groups. Let's see what they have to say. Also tonight we'll be talking about, I'm going to talk some about video games and my opinions on them, and maybe even about robots if we get to it. So let's find out what's happening first in here. Well, let's get to a loading screen and start talking about some other stuff. Right. A fist wrapped in a soft glove. Or, yeah. Oh, good. Another assassination mission. Sigh. Okay, well, whatever. That's what I get paid to do. Low tonnage lands. I don't think there is such a thing as a low tonnage lands. If you drop a couple 100 tons of battle mech, people take notice. So you might as well go big or go home. There you go. All right. Thank you, Darius. See, I like Darius the best. Darius says, we do our job, we get paid, and we go home. That's exactly what I want to do. I don't have to worry about consequences. I just want to ride my giant robots around shooting lasers and missiles at people. All right. Let's make sure we get salvage. Right, 200 ton max. Also, yeah, we're going to leave you out and train somebody else up. 200 tons max. Grasshopper here. Oh, max 55 tons. So a griffin. Let's see. The panther has 2 large lasers. Blackjack. At 190, that's about as good as it gets for something like this. We got the rear team and the brawlers up front. Okay, let's let her rip. Here we go. Looks like I need another 45 tonner medium mech that I can drop if I want to fill out these sorts of missions up to my best capability. So I'm going to make a note of that. We will add a 45 ton mech to the rotation. And so yeah, while we're loading, I want to talk about video games. A little bit of background. I spent 16 years in the video game industry before finally moving on to a different sort of software position. It was good. Yeah, it was a good 16 years, but just for someone with that much experience, video games just don't pay as much as the rest of the corporate world. So if you're looking for if you're a software engineer and you're looking for a high-paying job, you're going to want to go to Amazon or Google or Facebook or somewhere else that's going to pay you a lot of money. Video games will give you a lot of maybe personal satisfaction. Where you'd be surprised. You might be surprised about how much of a say you actually get in those sorts of things. But yeah, I think what I tell people is my biggest career mistake was not, going to work for Amazon 15 years ago. They weren't around 15 years ago, 10 years ago, whatever, right? If I'd done that, I'd be retired now, probably. Oh well, it is what it is. But all that aside, yeah, I worked on a bunch of stuff. I worked on games for consoles, for PC, and for mobile. So I have learning experience on everything from AAA titles for Sony all the way down to tiny little mobile games that never got more than 3 or 4 users. All right, let's roll these guys. Yeah, you just hold out there. All right, what do we got? Crenshaw's that way. He's over there. Something over there. Something over there. I'll tell you what. I think we're just going to hide behind some buildings first.
Heading out. Moving to position.
Enemy detected.
Vehicles. That's a big vehicle. If that's an SRM launcher, we'd be in trouble. Why can I not see that guy from here?
Orders?
What if you guys don't have jump jets? That's disappointing. Tell you what, here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna reserve up. We're gonna let them go first. I want to see where they move to.
Keep your eyes peeled, Commander. This looks like an ideal place for an ambush.
Yeah. So one of the things about video games or regular games or just art in general is that pretty much every video game is just a sort of response to what came before it. You see that a lot in the classical art world, right? Like, are these guys stealth somehow? Why am I not able to? Yes. That is a Packrat support vehicle that needs to die, and then I need to take its parts. I did not kill it. Okey-doke. Alright, there, its spotter is down. Yeah, Class Guard has this all the time. Many of the movements, the Renaissance Sword Elves, everything else were all just, not just, but were responses by the artists of that time
Good to go.
who were dissatisfied with
Acknowledged.
the current state of things. So they made their own art movements, they made their own ways of doing things. It's the same with video games. You see it all the time. Like,
Damage minimal.
you know, I worked at PopCap, and one of the things about working at PopCap is, you know, PopCap was one of the first people to really do match threes, right? But then King came along and made Candy Crush. And Candy Crush just ate their lunch because they didn't keep up with the times. But Candy Crush is still like, they took the business model of mobile games and applied it to
Copy that.
a proven formula. Yeah, that's a lot of SRMs. That thing's gonna get a shot off, and I'm gonna be in trouble.
I hear ya. Taking the high road. All weapons are go. You like that?
Which is great. I mean, art comes down to like the sort of classifications of knowledge. And if you ever find yourself being a game designer, don't, you know, sort of don't delude yourself into thinking that what you're doing has never been done before. I've seen that a lot of times. Like, I worked on games like AAA title games, $1 million budgets, and the people making the game, the people designing it, and saying this is what goes into this doesn't. You know, those people refuse to acknowledge that there was a game out there that was similar to the game they had in their minds. And this was a huge mistake. They suffered from it because they could have, you know, learned something and played those games and figure out what worked and what didn't. But instead, they stuck their hands in the sand and reinvented everything from scratch. And the product suffered from that. That's something else you need to remember when you are making video games. Is at the end of the day, unless you're doing this, unless you're making video games just for fun, you're making a product. You're making something that has to make money. There's people's jobs, people's families, you know, depend on these things being successful, and if they're not, then, you know, people lose their jobs, and you don't get to make more games. And so, you know, sort of to my mind, hobbyists are not welcome. Like, the worst thing you can say to me is that, not the worst thing you can say to me, I'm sure there's worse things, but you know, we went through a whole phase at one company where they wanted to use Unity because it was sort of off the shelf, and it was something they said the people who were trying to push it said, you know, hey, we can just hire anyone off the street who wants to make, who knows how to use Unity, and they'll make video games for us. And to me, that's just wrong-headed. Like, you don't want to hire just anyone off on the street. You want to hire professionals. You want to hire people who know what they're doing. You want to hire people who have an understanding of game systems, an understanding of the market, an understanding of how the businesses work. so that you can make the best product possible, and you'll get to make something. But you know, even the most famous artists,
Standing by.
you know, they did portraits sometimes because it paid the bills.
Coordinates received.
And sometimes you just got to pay the bills.
Firing everything I've got. Yes, Commander.
And so don't hire dilettantes. Hire people who know what they're doing and want to be doing what they're doing because they want to do a good job.
Engaging jump jet. Giving him everything I've got.
And so it's important that you have people who know what the market, who aren't, I guess, so like enamored of themselves that they refuse that they refuse to accept that they refuse to look at what other people have made. They refuse they think that, you know, they are the only ones who could have come up with an idea. Ideas are a dime a dozen. Ideas are cheap. It's execution that's hard. It's turning that idea into a product that makes money, that lets you, you know, have another idea. That's the hard part. I mean, so I guess an example would be like, just take this game that I'm playing right now. Right, this game did not come out of nothing. This game relies on a long sort of legacy of video games and board tabletop games and all kinds of stuff that came before it.
Standing by. What can I do for you? Good to go. I hear you.
Nobody.
Jumping. What can I do for you?
Yeah, let's just ignore these guys for now. So you should never think that your idea is unique. You should always go look for prior art because somebody has probably figured out some problems before you, right? And if you want a great game, most great games, they take multiple things, they smush them together, and they make something new out of it. You know, this game did the same. It took the Battletech universe, which is full and rich and has just so much stuff in it that's a lot of fun, so much rich background and history. It's giant robots, which people love.
Orders? Waiting for orders. Waiting on you, Commander. Yes, Commander.
And you know, it modified those rules. The Battletech rules, the board game, the tabletop game. those rules are complicated, right? They're not easy. Building mechs is not easy in those rules. It takes a lot of work to play that game, and it's not all for the better. That it does take that much work. Necessarily, but with this game, they took the pieces that were fun: the giant robots, the tactical movement, the armor locations, being able to customize your mechs. They took all of that and they pulled it together.
Full throttle.
Receiving you.
And they made something new out of it. Although it's not completely new, it's an iteration on what came before. And my suspicion is that if you look at what Catalyst Game Labs is doing with their new editions of Battletech, they're also taking things that they looked at and they synthesize the previous editions, and they go and they look at other games and they put things together and they make something new, but it's not completely new. It's an iteration of what's come before. Dungeons and Dragons is a great example of this. You can even go, and find places where the lead designers on Dungeons and Dragons, they very consciously looked at other games and took pieces that they liked and stole them and put them right into Dungeons and Dragons. They simplified things. They took what was difficult with the D20 system in Pathfinder and made it easier to play the game. Which is good. I mean, and that's one of the reasons why it's having such a resurgence now, is they really sat down, and rather than, well, they sat down, don't get me wrong, they sat down for all the editions, but
Waiting on you, Commander.
with 5th edition,
What can I do for you?
they really, again, took another look at it and said, all right, what are the fun parts?
I leap, I soar.
What are the fun parts of this game? The fun parts of this game are the role-playing part. I've heard it said that for the 4th edition, they looked at it and they thought, well, what are the fun parts of this game? And in that edition, the fun parts of the game were making a character, right? Like, they optimized for people being able to make, builds, chat about those builds, or, not even ever play the game. Like, just sit at home and think about their characters, and treat it as way more of a tactical thing. And don't get me wrong, it accomplished some piece of that goal, right? In that people talked about it, right? People probably did spend a significant amount of time discussing the game and the benefits of one build or another over another.
Commander.
But that wasn't.
Location confirmed.
But it failed because it didn't capture the imagination of it. They did things like they looked at MMOs that were out at the time. They said, "Ooh, people like doing this."
See how you handle this. Scratch another target.
And people like doing that, so we'll make cars and we'll do other things.
Waiting on you, Commander.
And we'll make it very MMO-like, and all of that is fine. But in 5th Ed, they looked at some of the other popular things that were out at the time, like Dungeon World or certainly the previous editions, right? Like there are things in D&D that they would probably get rid of if they weren't so like almost integral to the D&D's DNA. Like the 6 attributes. Do they really need those 6 attributes? Like, are those really that important? Are there better things that can be better ways to represent a character than strength, dex, con, wiz, charisma, and intelligence? Right?
Receiving you. On my way.
Like other dice that they could use. Like, is the D20 the best thing? There's a lot to be said for the systems,
Ready for orders.
I think, that are out now that don't use D20s, right? They use
Got it.
2d6 to give their game a a curve, a probability curve.
Taking the high road.
And those games are really great because they can be balanced a lot more easily. Where when every a +1 or whatever is not just a 5% better increment. It really means something. It's it's worth way more when you're on low. A +1 to your roll is worth way more when you're on the low end of being able to accomplish something, and not worth nearly as much when you're on the high end. There we go. Oh boy. So what was I saying? Yeah, you need, like, they took those games and they kept some things, but they threw away others. Like the skill system and the feat system is still in there in spirit, but it's significantly different in practice. The skills are still there, but they got rid of a lot of them. They crushed it down and tried to get to the essence of what they needed. Let's see, did I get one of those modules for hiding? Doesn't look like it. Jump jets. I really wanted a stealth module. Heat sinks, SRMs, MGs, and oh well. So yeah, get into games, make some great games, but don't make the mistake of thinking that you're the first person ever to have done something. You'll make it's just better not to. You'll make better decisions if you go and you do the research and you try to learn and you look at games that other people have made and try to figure out why did they do something. Some of my favorite interview questions when I would interview people, even engineers for games, is like, what are your favorite games? What would you change about it? Why did you like this game? Why did you not? And really, it's a question of like, do you just like games or do you think about games? Because you need to make good decisions. You need to know what kind of experience you're driving for the player. All right, anyway, back to Battletech. All right. Okay. Two doesn't. Okay. I wonder what Lady Cunningham. Yeah, great. I don't like this at all. Yeah, I don't know. No, we're going to go out. We're going to complete our contract. When in doubt, always fall back on doing your contract. Keep your word. I don't think, and from talking to Lady Cunningham, I don't think she's going to care. She'll probably even just spin it as something that the terrorists did. Yeah, thank you, Darius, for backing me up. He's a good exo, that Darius. Ooh, no tonnage restrictions. That's true too, and it will get worse for us. That's a good point. You don't negotiate with terrorists. Anyways, like I said, it's a real shit sandwich. But I gotta take as many tons as I want, so we're gonna drop some real heavy metal on top of these guys. Yep. Oh, no thank you. Thank you for that glitch. They said no tonnage restrictions. But what they meant by no tonnage restrictions was tonnage restrictions. Alright, well, off we go. Yeah, so the trick with actually putting what I was talking about into practice, there's classifications of knowledge and how you use it, but only 3 of those really apply to what we're doing, and that is knowledge itself, play games, learn about them, know what they are, application, taking the fact that you know something and simply applying it, right? That's cloning stuff one for one, and then synthesis, which is using the knowledge you have and the applications you've done to make something new. A lot of times in games you don't want to make something new, right? For instance, if people expect guns to act a certain way in a shooter, changing that can add a lot of cognitive dissonance. Unless your game is about your guns being different, don't do it. Don't make that change. Make it familiar. Don't force the user to do it. But for the pieces that you do want to change, for the things that are interesting about your game, that's where the synthesis comes in. Is taking that stuff that you made and making it new, making it something that's better. That's true. Yeah, can't say I feel great about this, but alright, so there's a garrison, and it does look like there are turrets on those pylons, probably. So we need to be careful about how we approach. We'll use this building for cover to start.
Enemy detected.
Ooh, let's run through some. Yeah. Break those cargo containers. Good times.
Affirmative. On my way.
We want to reserve up and make sure they get to go first. Pair of 55 tonners. Alright. Guy standing near any electrical fumes? No. Oh, hello.
All weapons committed.
Well, that's bad. I got a view of a turret.
Warning. Armor low.
Commander? Affirmative. Taking the shot.
Any more turrets want a piece of me? No? Alright.
Waiting on you, Commander. Moving out. Receiving you.
Still a decent amount of armor in the front.
Targeting for an alpha strike.
Alright. Pull back. Sensor lock this guy.
Sensor lock on target.
What did that say? 30. For a moment there I had a panic attack. I thought it said 90 tons.
Got it.
We got left 88. Keep putting him away.
Strike.
Almost got him.
Good to go. Coordinates received. Waiting for orders. Heading out.
I think I only have one to hit CT. I don't have him, but
Roger that.
did not happen. Bother.
Warning. Armor breached. Internal damage.
Now the moment of truth. That's not good. Oh gosh. I'm gonna sprint him away. We can't afford these taking these hits. Alright, left arm is damaged. Present the right side.
Sensor lock on target.
Light damage, Commander. Standing by.
He must have run all the way over here. Wow. That's fine by me. I'm just gonna move back this way, and as long as I can sensor lock that guy.
Aye, aye.
I do for you?
Let's see if we can pull this guy down just with one shot.
Got it.
Oh, missed. How obnoxious.
Next time.
Yes, Commander.
Hmm.
Aye, aye.
Trying to get away from those turrets because
Damage is minor, Commander.
we'll find out if we were successful. Can't precision strike. Okay. Well, we can sensor lock and pull off some
Sensor lock on.
evasion.
Damage is light. Orders?
I'd like to shoot on me later than him.
I hear ya. No sweat.
95% to hit. Perfect.
Makes sense.
Ooh. Well, now that is a very nice shot. Another javelin.
Systems holding. Ready for orders. What's up, boss? Ready for orders.
Try to take out his center. Got it. So he's got one almost dead griffin and one fully functional griffin.
What's up, boss? Waiting for orders. Roger.
We'll just brace up. There's one of the griffins, I think. Ah,
Reporting heavy damage.
all right, let's move so that Put it all in.
Weapons committed.
Receiving you.
So we could try to break the building even. Once it got left 76.
What can I do for you? Uh-huh.
Got 100 left on there, so I might be able to pull him down in one volley.
Go.
But I might be able to get him with
Another hit like that, and you're toast. Waiting for orders.
this guy. I can move for optimum to hit 95. Seems good.
Moving to position.
Still got 50. I just need one of these to land in the center and I'll have him. Got him. Huzzah. Alright, so now we've got one wounded griffin running around still that we have to deal with.
That was bad. Waiting for orders. On my way.
This is left 11. Yeah, we just need to land the shot.
Firing everything.
Scratch another target.
Alright, now it's just turrets.
Gotcha.
You get to stay back here, because if you don't, you will die. You've got LRMs for this. You've got lasers.
Affirmative.
You've got lasers.
Moving out.
Yeah, that should be fine. Great.
Orders.
So yeah, continuing on in that vein. Just, you know, look around. Learn. You need to learn. You need to synthesize. You need to make things
Standing by.
out of what's already been made.
On my way.
It does no good. It does no one any favors, and you just waste time if you pretend like you already know everything. So don't do that. Don't do that. Just, you know, keep some humility, keep some perspective, and, you know, do your thing.
Gone.
I get to a spot where I can see this guy. Looks like it.
Sensor on target.
And if you can,
Good to go.
the best thing you can do is just iterate, iterate, iterate. I'm supposed to not always do that, but I say that, but then I'll take it back immediately. The iterations need to be low cost.
Orders.
You need to be building your iterations with tools that aren't expensive. Like, engineers are expensive. So if you want a lot of iterations, rather than getting your engineers to build you a whole
Gone.
system for iterating on things, you know, make do with what you've got. Build something with cheap tools. Use, make web pages. Do prototyping in Unity. Don't make the whole game.
Affirmative.
But it's the thing, I feel the job of a game designer to basically be a force multiplier. Like, you should know,
Commander,
you shouldn't have to iterate everything. You should have a good idea of what's going to be fun and what's going to accomplish your goals
all weapons are go.
before you ask anyone to make it.
Standing by.
Right, like you're there to make everything more efficient. You're not there to have ideas. Game designers should not
Good to go.
think that ideas are their jobs. Everyone's got ideas. Ideas are easy to find. You can go on Reddit and you can find a billion ideas, right? Every forum has 1,000 game ideas for people to,
One less turret.
steal from, if you will. But it's not really stealing either, because like I said, everything's, if you've thought of something,
Warning. Enemy reinforcements.
guaranteed someone else has thought of it too. Like,
Sensor lock.
I have a 6-year-old daughter. She thinks of things all the time. Some of them are good ideas. Ideas are easy. Execution is hard.
Yes, Commander. I copy.
So focus on execution. Focus on making good decisions. Focus on knowing what your goals are and the things that are going to help accomplish those goals versus the things that feel like they would be cool. One of the
Heading out.
worst phrases I ever hear out of a game designer's mouth is, "Wouldn't it be cool if?" And the answer is always yes. It would be cool if X, Y, or Z. It would be cool if heads exploded, or it would be cool if you could customize your mech, or it would be cool if
Engaging target.
Enemy structure damage, Commander. Good shot, Commander. Enemy structure.
it would be cool if
Target building. Destroyed.
I could fully customize
Enemy sensor lock detected.
each and every piece of my mech. One a couple things that I'm talking about here, like you almost have to be able to customize your mechs in order to call yourself a Battletech game. But for instance, I can change the paint scheme on my mechs. Was that really worth the time that the team put into it to allow me to do that? I'd argue no. Like, do I notice? Does it matter? Does anyone care? Not really. They would have been better off
Down, Commander.
putting some extra time into something else rather than making it so I can change the paint scheme. That's
Waiting for orders. Coordinates
you know,
received.
is it important that that's bad. At least they're firing at my right arm. What do we got? 35, 55. Doesn't really matter because I can only sensor lock one of them.
Sensor lock on target.
Oh, and they're running around. Someone's got an ECM.
Warning. Enemy sensor lock detected.
Is this my chance to...
Orders?
finally get a fancy Raven? I do miss the games industry sometimes.
They've got a lock on me.
It could be there was a definitely some satisfaction with releasing a product,
Right, Commander.
putting it out in the world, and seeing how people reacted to it, and then
Yes, Commander.
being done with it, or in the case of mobile games, iterating on it and making it better based on feedback.
For an Alpha strike.
That sort of thing was really nice. But on the other hand, I also like making a lot more money, truth be told. And the work that I'm doing now, it's really not that different from what I was doing before.
Sensor lock on target.
I can't take much more of this. Commander? On the move.
Would I ever go back to the games industry? That I'm not sure about. I might. It's certainly, I would do the same thing I did when I left the games industry, which is I would take stock of my options and do a bunch of interviews and figure out what my best move is.
Commencing Alpha strike.
Alpha Strike, 2-gun Alpha Strike. Woo!
That's a kill.
The dream, of course, is to own my own company and take all the things that I sort of knew and learned working in the games industry and apply them.
Sensor lock
The commando. Okay.
They've got a lock on me.
Everybody got locked.
Waiting for orders. Moving to position.
I'd love to be able to have the flexibility to
Firing all weapons.
Own my own company, write my own check, make my own games. I don't know if it's ever going to be in the cards. That stuff is
Yes, Commander.
quite an expensive endeavor.
Position confirmed.
But if I could, I would.
Barely hit, Commander.
Sensor lock on target.
Commander.
Him go first so we can take a double turn. Right.
Orders. Affirmative. Critical hit, Commander. Commander?
Good critical hit too. And for this, we need to save up our.
All weapons are go. Good to go. Roger that.
Save up our inspiration so we can shoot the legs off of that Raven. Because that's the thing I haven't gotten yet in this game is a Raven. And I would really like to be able to run a Raven in the low tonnage flashpoints.
Minor damage, Commander. Waiting for orders. Ready for orders.
Can't see him from there, huh? Well,
Got a lock.
there we go.
Good to go. Got it.
Try to take off those legs
Alpha strike.
so we can salvage as much as we can.
Commander.
You're not doing much. I guess you can shoot this building, try to take it down.
Firing on target.
Actually accomplish the objective and do the thing we're being paid to do. Right side, brace. Okay. All right.
Commander. Coordinates received.
Really? It's just invisible.
I've got a sensor lock.
Yeah, I don't like how this mechanic really works.
Ready for orders.
You know, it's
Aye, aye.
really powerful.
Got it.
Alright, got the leg. Swept the leg.
Heavy damage.
Like if I have visual line of sight on them within reason, it should just work.
Receiving you.
laser into the leg. Just has to tap it. Good. Got it. I don't think I killed anything except the legs, which means hopefully I'll be able to take a lot of parts. Yeah.
Mission successful.
We took the initiative, we completed our contract, so she needs to pay up. It's unfortunate what happened, but yeah, I don't know what to say. Like they said, too. If we start only 2 parts for my Raven, huh? That's unfortunate. Are there any interesting modules? Nope. But yeah, I don't like that in this game, that they added a new mechanic, the ECM, ECCM stuff. And then they made a mission, Ubiquitous Shadowhawk, where you couldn't get it. So now I've been having to wait a long time in order to get my Raven. It's annoying. I still don't have it. Boo-hoo, poor me. Poor little me. Don't have my Raven. But it would be really nice and fun on missions like these to be able to run around with the ECM field. It's perfect. Excuse me. It's perfect for these low tonnage missions. I don't know. Anyways, yeah, that's my spiel about games and game design. Great. So it's our fault. Yep, well, we did kill them after all, so it's kind of a fair point. It's fine. It's what we get paid for. See? Even she says, yes, that is what we pay you for. Yes. Good. Thank you. I will take my payment immediately. That's the reason we're mercenaries. We're deniable assets. That's what we get paid to. That's why we get paid millions of dollars to do what we do. Yeah, let's bail. Let's see what we get. An uncommon weapon. Ugh. Whoop-de-doo. Yeah, this is hardly worth my time except for the Raven parts. Oh well. Alright, so that wraps up that flashpoint. Let's see what our next destination is. Are there any more flashpoints up? Alright, well, it looks like Battletech Flashpoints might be coming to an end. There's only one left. So, we're going to go fly to Mitchell for Siege Breaker. There is a tonnage requirement. Rare mech upgrade. Alright, House Lao, let's do this thing. Thank you to everyone for watching. Hello to the person who just joined the chat. You just missed it. We finished up the flashpoint, and we're about to get on to the next one. There's only one more Flashpoint left on the map, so this may be the last Battletech Flashpoint that we play. And after that, we'll have to find something else to do. Anyhow, thanks to everyone for watching. Thanks to the folks on YouTube. If you're watching this, so glad you can watch it after the fact. You can always come over to Twitch late nights to check it out live. And we will... everyone, have a good night. Have a great day wherever you are. And I'm signing off.